Happy Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a smashing one today. We're going to be delivering, as always, another daily cryptocurrency market update. And if you are new to my channel and finding yourself on my videos for the first time today, go and check out that subscribe button because we drop an update just like this one around 1 p.m. UK time every single day to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space, but also the broader markets. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing in this video. We're going to be predominantly focusing on what's happening within the cryptocurrency space because over the past 48 hours, so much has taken place from a kind of regulatory point of view. We're seeing more individuals or more companies, institutions actually filing for Solana ETFs. We've always said Solana was the obvious choice. Yesterday, we looked at the Sol BTC chart, which makes us bullish on Sol in regards to its positioning in the overall market, but also bullish on the market as a whole because Solana isn't going to be doing well if Bitcoin isn't. So we will be revisiting that. Obviously, 21 shares filed for a Solana ETF yesterday. They skipped the Ethereum ETF. They've gone straight for Solana. We're going to be looking at some estimates in regards to what Solana's price may do as a result of all of that. However, we're going to be starting things off with some things that took place over the past 24 hours in regards to the Binance lawsuit and the judge dismissing the claims that the Binance essentially violated securities laws on the secondary market and essentially has ruled that no sales of tokens that were mentioned violated securities laws on the secondary market. So they didn't constitute as securities and violate those laws. So we're going to be starting things off there. We're then going to be looking at the fact that the SEC has now striked back at Consensys, who have, so Coinbase has sued the SEC. That took place over the past 48 hours. Consensys actually the SEC had actually dropped a number of charges against Consensys, but they've now brought more charges to them. Now, Consensys are the people behind MetaMask. They started off as an Ethereum development or developer kind of group, if you will. We'll be covering all of that then. Eric Balanchunas, obviously the senior analyst for ETFs over at Bloomberg, has pushed back his Ethereum ETF date. Then we'll be diving over to the general market. So we have, as always on this channel, ladies and gentlemen, a hell of a lot to cover to keep you guys up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space. Let's start things off, as promised, with the big win for digital assets in regards to what took place relating to the Binance versus SEC or SEC versus Binance case. So this is from Eleanor Terrett. She is a journalist over at Fox Business. She reports, a big win for clarity over secondary market sales of digital assets. District Judge Amy Berman Jackson has just dismissed the SEC's claims that secondary sales of Binance's BNB token qualify as securities under the Howey test. So that is clarity that the BNB token, which I think is another dark horse in this market. I think BNB is going to do well. I think now that the US has kind of got CZ out the way and they completely trolled him with their $4 billion, because he was throwing up the fours all the time, like he was part of some sort of gang. They totally clowned him with all that. And really, what we've seen is a hostile takeover by the United States in regards to the cryptocurrency space, paving the way for the eventuality that they allow this industry to become exactly that, an industry. And we've always said it's a real kind of prospect that we have in regards to being speculators on this space at a time where we are. It's not even been allowed to become an industry as of yet. We're getting regulatory clarity. Once we get that, you watch everybody come out the woodworks. I know of a lot of big companies, big institutions, some of the largest in the world, that are all moving in the shadows right now as it relates to crypto. And once those walls are broken down, that floodgate will open, and we're going to talk about that in relation to the ETFs coming, and we've been spot on in regards to the sort of lineage that we thought that would follow. But this is a big win because it classifies BNB, certainly on the secondary market, as a non-security. That has broader ramifications for the space as a whole. If you look at the Binance lawsuit, the Coinbase lawsuit, the Bittrex lawsuit, there was a number of cryptocurrencies, I think it was something like 20 cryptocurrencies that were mentioned in those lawsuits as being securities. We're getting more and more clarity that that's actually not the case. And XRP, the Ripple, whether you like XRP or not, the Ripple lawsuit was pivotal for the entire industry. So, citing Ripple's Judge Torres' opinion that the economic reality of the tokens transactions mattered when applying the Howey test. In her opinion, she states the government's reliance on the assertion that the crypto assets are the embodiment of the investment contract, and its argument at the hearing about the nature of the technology and the independence of the platform and the performance of every token is not enough standing alone to bring secondary sales of BNB under the investment contract rubric. Moreover, the agreement is somewhat inconsistent with the singular theory the government has been advancing since this action was filed. We aren't saying that the coins are securities. We are talking about investment contracts. Full description here. So this is interesting. Even though it was a big win, the court has also allowed most of the SEC's claims to proceed in the Binance suit. So they've dismissed some, but they've allowed others to continue. And we're going to go ahead and look at Paul Grewal, who is the chief legal officer over at Coinbase's take on this. So this is from Chevron. Gone. Secondary sales in the Binance case gone. More to say about that. And now, late on a Friday, more stonewalling from the SEC to stop Coinbase from obtaining documents from Gary Gensler in litigation. So Coinbase, not yesterday, the day before, so Thursday, actually sued the SEC over a Freedom of Information Act, Historical Information Act, in regards to previous sort of information that had led them to go after certain projects. The SEC had basically denied Coinbase access to that. There's an act out there that says that can't be the case. The SEC is really losing horrifically here, and actually it's a big win for the industry that we now have a judge essentially saying that BNB doesn't constitute on the secondary market as a security. And there's holes being picked. It's very interesting when we look at what's now being brought forth against Consensys after the SEC had previously dropped a load of charges against them. They've now sued them over its MetaMask product, alleging its staking and swap services violated federal laws, which is interesting because we now have clarity that Binance's BNB on the secondary market doesn't constitute as breaking any laws from a securities point of view under the Howey test. So there's a lot that doesn't make sense here. It's honestly my opinion that Gary Gensler was just brought in to basically stall this industry and allow his special interests to position in regards to them kind of going, oh, well, you know, looks like we lost that. It's really a power grab. It's a new industry. Whenever you get new industries, this is how bureaucrats work. They go for as much as possible, and then they'll kind of work from there, you know, what they can and can't get. But he goes on to say, as background, in March 2021, Mr. Gensler told Congress that the SEC lacked regulatory authority over digital asset exchanges, confirming market participants' long-standing view that transactions in digital asset traded on such exchanges fell outside the securities law. We're now getting clarification on that. As a prominent professor of blockchain technology and later speaking in his individual capacity, even while serving as chair of the SEC, Mr. Gensler made a host of other statements on this very matter, both to the public at large and to audiences of market participants. Coinbase has asked Mr. Gensler to produce documents concerning those communications because they are relevant to exposing how the SEC's enforcement actions offends the Constitution's requirement of due process, but the SEC and Mr. Gensler seek to prevent them from coming to light. We look forward to addressing this matter with the court. You can review this motion, so on and so forth. So to sort of round things off, it was a big win for the cryptocurrency space and a big loss for the SEC in regards to the BNB token not being classified as a security on the secondary market. It aligns with the kind of XRP decision by Judge Torres. We're seeing win after win for the crypto space, guys. It's not long before the kind of monster that is the SEC and Gary Gensler as it relates to the cryptocurrency market. I think they have done some good things, you know, but just doing a few good things, the SEC doesn't sort of mitigate and dismiss the corruption, the sort of regulation by enforcement that's going on here, that they've been called out on so many times. And why they double down at this point is beyond me. And very interestingly, and let's go over to this take, the SEC has formally charged Consensys, which they previously dropped charges on, I think it might have even been at the start of this week, with violating securities laws by operating an unregistered broker-dealer. and engaging in the offer and sales of securities through its MetaMask platform. This was expected following the Wells notice Consensys received in April. My sources had told me they were expecting these charges to come around the end of the month, but they are here now. Now, the interesting thing is, if we're now, and we've just got clarity in regards to the Binance case, in regards to these things being non-securities, how can you then charge Consensys with what you've charged Binance with and it's been dismissed? Or that particular claim has been dismissed. The whole Binance lawsuit hasn't been dismissed. I think they got CZ on technicalities and Binance on technicalities. And that's ultimately why, you know, he's going to be serving a small prison sentence, I think, but he's still going to maintain the richest man, one of the richest men in the world statuses. Certainly his BNB, I think, will do well. But this is interesting. You know, the fight really does continue. And we'll be keeping you up to date with it here on the channel as it proceeds. But my general take is the SEC are losing this fight big time. There's a lot of pressure. I think Gary Gensler is going to be out very soon. I don't think there's any, you know, originally I didn't really think that. I thought actually he's probably a good guy to have in the job from a kind of regulator's point of view in regards to his understanding of the cryptocurrency space, but he's just done such a bad job. I've never seen them lose so many lawsuits. If you look at the SEC's history and their win rate, it's extremely high. However, when it comes to crypto, they're not doing too well. You know, they're getting some people on technicalities. They're getting some people by bending the truth and getting caught out on it in regards to debt box. It's really not a great look for them whatsoever. So some really interesting things have came out over the past 24 hours in regards to the Binance suit. In the past 48 hours, we've had Solana filings. We've had Consensys dismissals and now sort of resuings. We've had Coinbase sue the SEC. All kinds of things going on, and it's all going to come to a head, in my opinion. The next thing that I want to take us to is, of course, the fact that we saw VanEck, over the past 48 hours, not yesterday, but the day before Thursday, file for a Solana ETF. We've now seen 21 shares officially file for a spot Solana ETF. Now, I've continued to say that Solana would be the third cryptocurrency to get an ETF, and the reason being is because it's institutionally statused. If you look at it from a price point of view, it's done very well. Why is that? Well, insiders know what's going on. That's why we're technical traders and we don't listen to the news, because the news will often not represent what's going on with the price. And ultimately, when you look at the people that offer Bitcoin ETFs, spot ETFs, and now going to be offering Ethereums, they all also offer basket products and Solana as their third in regards to holdings, not BNB, even though it has a larger market cap. This is from Gary Cardano, who, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of the guy, to be quite honest with you. So, wow, now this is interesting. She passed on the Ethereum ETF and instead is pursuing Solana. I think I have lost my bet. And you can see this is indeed the case. Interestingly, this is from DJ News. So, new market maker GSR estimates that a spot SOL ETF may increase SOL's price by as much as 8.9x or more. This aligns with our kind of rough $2,000 target that we have for Solana. It's interesting because despite Solana being and doing as well as it has, it doesn't have the community on YouTube and Twitter behind it like many other cryptocurrencies do out there, which again is more signaling that it is institutionalized and it's an institutional bid that is holding it up, not a retail one. That's one thing I've noticed. We do lots of videos on lots of different cryptocurrencies, just from my own take, a little bit of alpha from us. And Solana doesn't have the community like other cryptocurrencies do. Our Solana videos, yes, they do well. They do better than most people that cover Solana's videos, barring a few like Invest and Answers. Good guide to follow if you're interested in Solana. But in regards to other cryptocurrencies in the communities, I don't think Solana's really got it. But this aligns with our kind of price. What I'm going to do before we dive over to Total 2 is look at Sol BTC chart, because this is a great chart. This is a great chart not just for Solana, but the overall market. It's essentially dictating at a time when we think Bitcoin dominance is on the cusp of rolling. We think ETH, and we knew an Ethereum ETF was coming, just like we knew a Solana ETF was coming, based technically and fundamentally. Technically, of course, referring to the charts. ETH BTC was a great chart. ETH DOM is really signaling that there's going to be a big move for Ethereum against the overall market, and that's most notably going to come from Bitcoin, which ETH BTC confirms. Sol BTC looks fantastic. And this gives us broader confidence that the market is in a bull market, and that you're about to see that nearly quadrupling in regards to the total cryptocurrency market, excluding Bitcoin. This also aligns with all the ETPs that we watch. We're one of the only channels. I don't see anybody else talking about ETPs and their relationship, or relating crypto miners and how they look bullish with the crypto space, or Bitcoin miners predominantly, or any of the other things that we've just got so right, like crypto stocks, Coinbase. If Coinbase is going up, the market's going to be doing well. If 21 shares is crypto basket index and Solana's the third largest one is going to be nearly over 4xing, nearly 5xing, what's the market going to be doing under that context? If Bitwise's top 10 crypto fund is nearly going to be 10xing, what's the market going to be doing under that context? If Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund is going to be nearly 8xing, what's the broader context of the market under that guys? And of course, we've got lots of mining stocks that are doing well. TeraWulf was a recent runner for us. Lots of my community members actually in on that. Some of them 177% up on stocks, guys. Get on board, join the Patreon. We'll be doing a meeting tomorrow. Obviously, Coinbase, we've still got higher targets to be made on that. I think this is just a pullback for the market until it sees a broader continuation. I think our Ethereum ETF actually made its target. Yep, perfectly. There was a Nifty 50 did quite well. Do I have the Nifty 50 on here? I'm not 100% sure if I do. Yeah, I do. Markets know liquidity is coming, ladies and gents. Hang Seng still doing poorly. Obviously, a lot of the sort of Chinese market's not doing too well. I'm getting off topic. The last thing I want to cover with you guys talking about Ethereum is, unfortunately, I think we're going to have to push back our over-under till after the holidays. Sounds like the SEC took extra time to get back to people this week. Although, again, very light tweaks. And from what I hear, next week is dead because of holidays. July 8th, the process resumes and so on. So this is in regards to the Ethereum ETF. Eric Balanchunas and I think it was James Seyfarth, I'm not sure I'm saying that right. They were essentially calling for the ETF to be approved by the 2nd of July. That is 3 days away. It doesn't look that likely anymore, but it will come. I do think you're going to get the Solana ETFs. I think we're seeing more broader clarity, and we looked at that with the Binance news for the space as a whole. Hang in there, guys. That's why this channel is so important, and that's why what I do is so important, because we help people sort of quieten down the noise. We really combat the kind of doomsday individuals that have no technical merit or even fundamental merit. They'll base their entire thesis on what's going to happen with the markets. Oh, something looks similar. Oh, last time this happened in the 1980s or 70s, it led to this. Totally different context. Whichever way you look at the market, we just looked at a couple of sort of charts there that point to the market being bullish. We have loads more. We have work on the macro, theory on the Dixie. When it walks, talks, and quacks like a duck, it is a duck. And on that note, I am going to love and leave you. I have thoroughly enjoyed presenting this daily market update. I hope you've enjoyed watching it as much as I've enjoyed presenting it. I look forward to seeing you all in tomorrow's daily market update. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you all in the next one.